Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. We have Hans here with us today. We're going to talk about, it's an important topic, torsion, which is twisting of the
Yeah, how to recognize torsion.
torsion, which is twisting of the stomach, I guess. If some
Yeah,
people,
there's many different
yeah.
things where it could be air or whatever. But,
Okay, but torsion.
the thing, the how to proceed with that is always the same.
Yeah. Okay. It's a,
There are some things which go in intestines and all that, but where the intestines may twist.
Okay.
But that's not what I'm
okay.
really want to talk about. If your dog starts throwing up, there's always some obstruction or twist or something. So it's an emergency scenario, right? But what I want to talk about today is like when the stomach flips. And what happens there is the stomach flips because it cuts the blood supply to the stomach. Imagine you take something and twist it.
Yeah.
Right,
Totally.
so that when it twists, the blood won't go through. It's emergency, and you need to be able to prevent it and recognize it and know what to do about it. Okay, so how do we prevent it? Okay, this is my theory. I cannot prove it. It's just my experience. And that is that when I was living in Czechoslovakia, I never really heard of dogs flipping their stomach, right? Because, let me say this way. I never heard dogs flipping their stomach, but when I came to America, it's pretty common, relatively.
Yeah.
Right? And I figured, this is about the prevention. I figured is that in Europe, like I know when you want to have a dog back then, when I was in Czechoslovakia, there was no granulated dog food, It's just, so when you get a dog, you first gotta get a understanding your friend is working in a restaurant, and they give you table scraps.
Yeah.
And you feed that. Now you go to restaurant here in America on table scraps, they won't do it because it's against some kind of a code.
Yeah. Health code. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever, stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Everything is against code anymore.
Yeah.
And so we fed table scraps, which was a variety of different food, pieces of meat, little bone, potato, whatever, variety.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so the dog's stomach had to work on it, right?
Yeah.
Because it was chunks, right? Then when you come here in America and start feeding granulated dog food, what happens with granulated dog food is when it gets wet, it turns into mush, and the stomach doesn't have to do anything. So it atrophies, it doesn't have to work
It's like
on
a
it.
muscle.
And it's like a muscle which is weak now because it doesn't have to work on it. So it becomes, the stomach has kind of like a bulge on the top, and then it tends to flip, right? And when it flips, then you have a disaster going on, okay? Dog will die if you don't take care of it really quick. I mean, emergency-wise, I'm talking within an hour or two, okay? And even then, it's not sure thing, right? So the prevention for that is, in my opinion, is to feed chunks of meat. So the dog eats, and the stomach has to work on it. Has to squeeze it and work on it, and it becomes strong. Now, some of it is genetic. Some of the dogs tend to, some of the bloodlines tend to have it more than others. Okay. Another way to prevent it is that you can make it surgically, open the dog and staple the stomach to the wall of the belly,
And it won't.
and then it won't flip, right? And that is pretty drastic. But if you want to spend money on that would be okay. And when the stomach flips, it's fixed surgically, they do it automatically. Usually the vet will just. So, and then you need to, but first, the most important thing is to recognize it, right? Like, I remember I was boarding a dog for this guy and his wife, nicest people you can meet. They went to Hawaii for a trip, so I was watching. There are two dogs. One was Italian Greyhound, one was this big German Shepherd, which they got from me. But the dog was old, like 12 years. And I gave him food, and I'm kind of hovering around the kennel doing stuff, and I'm looking at him, and suddenly I see he has these signs of torsion or flip the stomach, and that particular symptom was like a stringy saliva hanging from his mouth, like foot long even, really long, stringy saliva, and dog is trying to throw up but cannot because the stomach is flipped, right? And so, I took the dog to my vet, and my vet turned into be a real asshole, and I said, and please don't edit it. And I call, you need to call the vet that you're coming because it's emergency. You cannot wait like till tomorrow.
Yeah, it has to be done ASAP.
It's just like you scoop and run, as we say when I was driving ambulance, right? There's no time.
Yeah.
I always say, you're bringing spoon of soup to your mouth. Don't finish. Just put it down and go.
Yeah.
And have a phone number of emergency vet clinic. Where you go. And I went to my vet and I called him on the way there, and he says, well, we are a little understaffed, and it's close to closing hour and all that, I said, oh my God, I was already halfway there. I was living in the middle of nowhere. So I made a U-turn and drove to town. And on 111 Avenue there is emergency clinic, So I was heading there, but it was another 50 miles, right, through town, right? And so I was mad, man, at that vet. I would never go there again. I'm not going to say his name, but whatever. It takes all sorts, I spend so much money in that vet clinic, and then he does this to me, Anyway, so I go to the emergency vet clinic, and I called them and I say, hey, I'm coming with this dog with torsion, with flip stomach, it's emergency. They know it's emergency. And so as soon as I come there, they were waiting for me, and they took the dog and x-rayed it, and they say, yep, it's a flipped stomach. So you have two options. Put the dog down, 12 years old dog, or we will do the surgery. And at this age, the probability this dog is going to live is about 5%, they told me, right? Yeah. So, and the surgery costs $4,500, and you got to pay it before we start the surgery. Because you can imagine some people that they won't pay, right?
They're speaking from experience.
Yeah. I didn't blame them for that. It makes, I understand, I've been there before, people rip me off. So I'm calling these people in Hawaii.
Yeah.
What do you want me to do? $4,500. What do you want me to do? And they were off grid or something. I couldn't get hold of them.
Yeah.
Right. So there I am in the vet clinic, with this dog, which is not mine, 12-year-old, 5% probability to survive, even if we do it right now. So I put my credit card and I say, hey, it's just money, right? I love dogs.
Yeah.
If he dies, right?
Yeah.
And so I paid, and they did the surgery, and dog lived.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
And the people, when they came back, I told them, what happened, and for that they owe me $4,500, and they were happy, and they paid me.
Oh yeah.
But imagine the dog would die.
Yeah.
Right? I would say, hey, So I have a bad news, and then I have a bad news.
Yeah,
Which one do you want to hear first, right? First bad news is your dog died, and by the way, you owe me $4,500.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
But at that point,
Yeah,
you just got to do the right thing.
that was the right thing to do.
You just got to do the right thing. It's just.
And it worked out.
As I like to say, once you know what's the right thing, the rest is just a cheap whiskey.
Yeah.
You know.
And the dog lived another
2 years or so. Old dog.
But
So it was great, and but anyway, and that's because I recognized the symptoms.
yeah,
There is a great video on internet, and I hope it's still there. It's on YouTube. You gotta Google or search on YouTube, search window. You gotta put there akita having torsion or akita having flip stomach. And there is this akita, this black, dark akita, walking in a backyard and kind of hunched up and stringy saliva coming from its mouth and try to heaving like he's gonna puke but cannot and all that. And you need to look at that video because it describes to you what it looks like. So what you do, the prevention, feed chunk raw meat, right?
So their stomach.
Recognition, and what was the third? And then what to do? You gotta be quick, to get to the vet.
If you enjoyed this content so far, please subscribe to our channel. Also, Hans has a podcast channel called Dog Training for Life. Check that out so you can listen to the audio version.
Is it more body types or breeds that you've seen?
Well, they say, usually larger dogs are, small dogs are not as affected as far as I know.
Yeah.
But, it could be, they say German Shepherds have a lot of problems. And I know of bloodline of German Shepherds, which we had to discontinue, which had it. And so we just, so there's genetics involved in it too, and it doesn't matter what causes it. This is, I mean, genetics or not. You have a dog and you have a, this is happening to it. So this is what you need to do. Okay. And I strongly urge people have to at least 3 phone numbers: your vet's, emergency vet, and another emergency vet.
Mm-hmm. This is a backup.
And have them in your car and in your wallet and have it on your refrigerator.
Because when it hits, like you're panicking, so you're not.
Right. Don't take no for an answer from the vet. Like I had a bad experience with another dog. I was in Cottonwood, and the dog had symptoms of seizures. Seizures, a flip stomach.
Uh-huh.
And so I called the local vet, and it was on Sunday. And they didn't want to do it. They said, we're closing. It was Sunday. They had emergency, like phone numbers. So I called them. I was just hiking there. I don't live there.
Yeah.
And they're not my vet. And they tried to say, well, you got to go to Prescott and all that. And go to Prescott? The dog is going to be dead by the time I go to Prescott.
Yeah.
Right? And it may not be dead, but as the stomach flips and the blood circulation cuts off, the stomach just dies.
Yeah.
And your dog may live another 4 or 5 days, but eventually, without stomach, you die, right?
Yeah.
Or it goes into shock and dies, right? But and this vet, and we don't have a staff and all that, and just a bunch of BS excuses, right?
Yeah.
And I said, no, I want you to do it. You do it. You have emergency phone number. You are emergency. You are 24/7. And she just, I just said, no, I'm coming there. You better take care of this, okay?
Yeah.
Because I was getting nasty about,
Yeah.
And eventually it would turn out that this particular vet never did this type of surgery, right? So she was not sure what to do or whatever. What kind of vet is that?
Yeah.
And it was just like a contract vet, employee vet. The owner of the clinic was on some wedding or some kind of a party,
Sunday.
So we pulled the other vet from the party, and she came and saved my dog, right? Yeah. But don't take no for an answer. You coming or have an alternative, which is not any lesser alternative. Just be hard ass.
Yeah.
if you don't do it within 2 hours, or really after half an hour, the survivability go down exponentially. You know, and if you don't, and who knows how long the dog was already having it before you even noticed.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like a pain. Yeah.
You know, so
Gallbladder
So
kind
I had a situation, and again, no names given, and somebody says, "Yeah, well, my dog is throwing up, or so I'm gonna take him to the vet tomorrow." But by then, if it's a flip stomach, your dog is dead.
Yeah.
Sure. Now, sometimes, I have to say, but don't count on it. When the stomach flip, it can unflip. I've seen it happen, right? But don't count on it. Don't count on it, please. And so, that's it about that.
Keep an eye on it and have those numbers ready.
And watch it, man. And if the dog start hunching and walking for right out, and it doesn't have to be right after he ate. That dog, which I told you about Cottonwood, there was no food involved.
Yeah.
There was no food involved.
So it can
It
happen.
just suddenly happened, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of times it happens right after they eat, and they get gassy, and the gas somehow works their voice. You know what? I'm not vet.
Yeah.
I could probably talk about it, but that's not what this is about. This is about when you see the symptoms, you have to go and watch that video on that visit Akita.
Yeah. Google that.
Google that, or go on YouTube and
Akita stomach.
then you look for the keywords, Akita Torsion or something like it'll pop up.
Torsion. Okay.
Yeah, there is this dog in the backyard, grassy area.
Yeah.
And they kind of stand, and then they walk a little bit pretty fast, like 5 steps, and then they stop again. They're in tremendous pain,
Yeah.
So
No, this was an important episode. So
Yeah.
thanks for giving us this knowledge. Please subscribe if you're a new listener. I know that when we look at our algorithm and stuff, and there's more people generally on YouTube that don't subscribe and then just watch the channel. So we would love for you to subscribe. That way you get updated on the new episodes, and make sure also to visit Alpine Canine Real, and that's where all the
right now we have
education-
only a few hundred members, and
Right now,
once I
but-
get 1,000,000 members, I will be getting rich of it.
That's right. Then you guys want his signature, and there's like a line out the door. And
So help me out to get to 1,000,000.
yeah, please.
Well,
Yeah.
at least 1,000, then it gets. But you know what? You make like 0.003
I know, yeah, and then,
cents per click or some shit.
Yeah, but
But every little bit helps.
yeah. I don't see a lot of, I see a lot as far as dog trainers that are like, I'm talking specifically YouTube. I don't see, you're 70 years old. I don't see many older, experienced dog trainers.
A lot of the people
that's-
who are successful, they're mid-age or young. And there's few. I'm not gonna say any names.
Yeah,
But the biggest one had like 3.6 million subscribers.
Yeah.
And he's an idiot.
yeah, yeah. So, I mean, the world, it's funny because life is usually always the opposite of the ones that do have the knowledge. They might not, but whatever. But point being is that, the reason we started this, because I told Hans, I go, you have this knowledge, let's just put it out and let the world hear. And then you can help others that are struggling with these issues. So,
yeah, I think these podcasts are, some of them are kind of like about me, how I started and all that,
Yeah,
right?
your story.
But then there are the ones which are practical and which can help you to be a better dog owner.
yeah. And it's not easy. So that's another podcast episode about dog trainers or dog training. So
Yeah, we can talk about Balabanov, and we can talk about Zach George and these.
yeah. It'd be fun to have some guests on sometimes that would willing to want to have.
You know what? There is this
we can
guy
invite,
I would like to have on. He's not a dog trainer. He trains his own dogs, but he's a good guy, and I would like to have him. James.
Okay, I think.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that
Okay, yeah,
right
you
now.
talked about this. So yeah, we want to have some guests on and some people that have the knowledge about dog training and can add to the show. So yeah, so thanks everyone.
Thank
We'll
you.
see you next time.